4 years. That's right. I just got a notification saying the channel is 4 years old now. It's a 4-year-old channel with 4,000 subscribers on its way to 5,000. Shout out to you guys. Thank you, by the way. 2 of those years was doing like Fortnite, indie games, Minecraft, like stuff for kids, right? It was meant to be an entirely different kind of channel, and then it skewed into reacts and drama and news and Destiny, like it, and the brutally honest reviews just kind of like evolved from it. Change is messy. It's crazy. It's all over the place. At least that's what Bungie would like you to know, is that change is messy. It was we're just gonna have to jump into it because some of this is pure gold, and I'm so glad I'm putting 2 videos out about these dev articles, because it writes itself. The content writes itself. At least if we've got to suffer, at least we can make fun and laugh at the stupidity of Bungie's mistakes. So we have news headline: we probably should have tried to innovate a little less. Bungie says it went too far and changed too much quickly with Edge of Fate as the game hits one of its buggiest years yet. Change is messy. Yep. So I'm gonna love reading this article because I can already tell it's gonna be a shit mess. Destiny 2 assistant game director. He's assistant. The other one said game director. Admits that Bungie pushed too many changes too fast during Edge of Fate, leading to one of the buggiest years the game has seen recently. Yeah, that was definitely one of the problems, though. Let's be honest. This was happening before Edge of Fate, right? We saw them pushing out content early from Episode Heresy. Content was breaking. Like the entire year of Echoes, Revenant, Heresy, that whole section, there were game-breaking issues. And yes, Edge of Fate further escalated that. That's just a sign of the fact that your game has been around too long and your systems can no longer handle it, or you're not doing a good enough job to, right? That's the reality of the situation. But I digress. Okay. Oh, I turned off my thing. Destiny 2 has been in surgery all year. The Edge of Fate expansion in July did not just kick off the new saga, it rewired almost everything in terms of how the game functions, which should have just been Destiny 3. The portal has become the main progression hub and also the main antagonist of the game, by the way. Forget the Witness, forget the 9. The portal is the actual enemy of the game. And it's winning. It's actually winning. Like, we think about, the Covenant activating the Halo rings in the Bungie games. Imagine if they succeeded. Well, this is what happens, because the Halo rings have been activated, and now the 95% of the community, the population is just gone. They're dead, Jim. They're dead. Armor 3.0 changes how the stats work. Bungie also added a gearing tier system, which players could unlock different tiers, the same weapon, with each tier enhancing the weapon's perk and stats. Now, Bungie is about to layer even more systems on top of that with Renegades, the Star Wars themed expansion launching next week on December 2nd. Bringing a new campaign and the Lawless Frontier activity, the Praxis Blade exotic, blasters, a new order system for rewards, the Equilibrium dungeon, and new weekly grinds like Vanguard alerts. The problem is that the game has been struggling under the weight of all of this. Since Edge of Fate launched, Destiny 2 has been hit with one bug after another. And I would argue this has just been this is ongoing. This has been an ongoing issue. It's not just Edge of Fate. Edge of Fate was the cherry on top. Bungie had to apologize for the Armor 3.0 ability stats not matching its own preview. Movement was bugged, and worse than before, base mobility values being wrong. Supers weren't doing work. Like, everything was just broken. On top of that, Ash and Iron Empty unintentionally altered grenade melee cooldowns so that 100 stat builds felt weaker than pre-Edge of Fate. Then came the crafting 2.0 sword glitch, which honestly wasn't that bad. I mean, when you think of, like, I would say the crafting was worse than the sword glitch because you just used the sword. That was it. That let players delete raid bosses that almost instantly with zero ammo. Bungie has been responding, apologizing as they have not been apologizing. They have not apologized. I mean, maybe DMG, but Bungie as a whole has not fucking apologized for shit. Let's be honest. Each pop-up players have clearly felt impact. Now, Destiny 2 director Robbie Stevens. Oh, so this is new. The new dude, Robbie Stevens, not Green, is speaking about what's going on behind the scenes. So we have director, we had the assistant director, and now we have the actual director. Speaking to Rogue in a Renegades preview interview at Bungie HQ, assistant game director Robbie Stevens was asked directly about the current instability, the bug walls, and what all these rapid changes have done to the live game. Stevens said Edge of Fate, the Year Prophecy updates, and Renegades were all built as a response to player asking for bigger changes. They were asking for Destiny 3. More, and here's the reality. People were asking for seasons to change. People were asking for the quality to change from like Lightfall, right? So the thing that there's difference of change versus completely reinventing the game. Which, if you're gonna reinvent the game, you might as well just make a number fucking 3. More ways to play and more loot to chase. He admits the scale of change came with a price. In his words, change is messy. There are probably parts of the game where we went too far and we changed too much too quickly. I don't think the pace at which you changed was the problem. It's what you changed that is the problem. This is the problem with Bungie, is that they try to assess the why players are upset, and they think it's because, oh, we just went too fast. No. It's what you changed. It's not how fast you did it, though it does play a part into the situation. It's how often, like, what it is, what you're changing. It's like a perfect example is vendors. Vendor rep, everything was fine. People liked it. People enjoyed the system, and Bungie removed it. After spending years working on the system, they gutted it for no fucking reason. Instead of adapting and evolving it to match the tier system or any other system, instead of doing that, they just gutted it, which no one asked for. These are systematic changes that no one asked for. So it's not how fast you did it, it's what you changed. He calls that that costs a tax the team now has to pay in the form of emergency fixes and reworks when parts of the new structure simply do not work. At the same time, he points to things Bungie still believes were good calls, like the armor stat curve. I think that was fine. Set bonuses, which are minimal. Tier 5 weapons, I still miss Adepts. And not only that, my personal preference is that they could just go back to how they did vendor rank ups, where essentially every time you ranked up, you unlocked another perk on the guns. And so you actually had to work for it. Whereas now the portal is, oh, I'm 550, I just get handed tier 5s. Minimal fucking effort, right? Which is funny because the raid doesn't give you anything. You actually have to work and do the mechanics, and raids are harder content, but they don't even reward you with tier 5s. Like, it's ass backwards. Like, in-game content doesn't just give you tier 5s, except for Conquest, right? Who gives a shit about Conquest when you could just load up a solo pinnacle, like, exotic mission, and no matter how you do, you just get a tier 5 regardless. If you're 500 and up, like, it's no skill involved, right? And no effort. And I know people are gonna be pissed off about that, but I'm saying what everyone's thinking, right? We thought that Destiny 2 launch was bad with everyone getting handouts. That's what the portal is. Portal is handout.com. I think certain weapons, like world weapons, being tier 5 and being handed out, fine, whatever, right? That's the world weapons, no one gives a shit. But we're talking about like pinnacle gear. Like, we used to have to do GMs for Adepts, and that was like, you actually had to put some effort into it. Versus now, you just get pinnacle gear for just sneezing on content. So it has I think the tier system is for armor is great, but for weapons is bad. While admitting those also sped up progression so much that the team had to invent a new long-term chase to keep players engaged. Yeah, it's funny. Bungie, instead of listening to what the players want, they just do whatever they want. And then when that doesn't work, they give themselves more work to do. And it's baffling. Bungie sets the house on fire and then it feel like they have to put the fire out themselves. They're like, and then I don't know, like, we're going in circles. Bungie's the problem. I mean, I think Edge of Fate, Year of Prophecy, and Renegades, the entire year here, a big part of this was people wanting change. And here's the deal. People want change. It depends on what the change was. Because you took and did your own change. Stop saying people want to change. It's what specifically people wanted. Seasonal changes. People wanted them to break the model. It wasn't just copy paste that was the problem. It was also the substance of what you were giving. Well, now we have nothing. So it's like, whatever. New things to do, new things to explore, new loot, different ways to even playing the game too. And so change is messy. And you did none of that. There is no new things to explore because it's just menu gameplay of playing old content we already had, which I'm glad we got, like, old seasonal stuff that, in my opinion, should have never left. Like, I don't think anything should be removed from the game, in my opinion. But if you want to rotate seasonal stuff in and out, I'm okay with that. As long as you're saying, hey, it's going to come back eventually, like how they do strikes. They roll in, like, you may do some season, you might do these strikes as grandmasters, and the other, like, that system was fine. It was fine. And if they want to do that with seasonal activities, like you're getting this brand new seasonal activity, and then we're bringing back 1-2 seasonal activities and we're rotating it in and out, fine. But when you remove 90% of the paid content and all the other stuff, that's the problem, right? And the thing, no one asked for that, by the way. The thing I think we will own and acknowledge here is there's probably parts of the game where we went too far, we changed too much quickly, and with that comes a tax, and the tax is how much we need to then react to those changes that aren't working or how much we've changed. Now there are things that I think, gone pretty well, right? There's armor stats. Okay, he's just resetting. Like, I don't post the comments and then give your opinion on it. Like, it's crazy to just summarize what they say and then show what they say. Like, just put it in there. Like, that's not how you do, like, citation. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm so used to writing essays that the citation drives me crazy. A lot of what Renegades is doing sounds like a direct reaction to that. The order system is meant to give you a clear, more focused reward track across common, legendary, exotic tiers, Vanguard alerts, add a weekly ritual. I don't know if even the order system is going to be good. We'll have to see. It feels like it's just more non-fucking sense. The order system sounds like it's shittier versions of vendors. I'll have to play and see. Vanguard alerts adds a weekly ritual layer that makes it obvious where to start when you log in. And we are clearly trying to do that. You are seeing it with the blasters and the Praxis blade, having tons of customization and gameplay, cosmetic depth there, having more just cosmetic pursuits inside of Renegades that isn't paid. That's a good thing if it's not paid, and all up with each of the syndicates, which is not something we had in Edge of Fate at all. Like, are the syndicates the vendors now, like actual vendor reputation? That'd be cool to see them come back. And also, y'all seen it yet? Because we want everyone to experience it and see it for the first time, but we actually are going to have these alternate delighter perks on blasters as well. So even if you earned a tier 5 blaster, there's still going to be a pretty deep chase to earn the alternate origin perk versions that are going to be a new perk, super hot for them as well. And I'm only hiding this as there's some stuff coming very, very soon, because a lot of that is in direct reaction to changes we had to make because of how fast we had to move in order to start to right the ship on the speed of progression and how it feels. I thought that was cool. How do you make people give a shit about tier 5s outside of just holofoil? Well, these holofoils have essentially the Forsaken like concept. Like, you got the Masterwork version that gave you a very specific perk that only the Master version had. So it gave it a chase item. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad, but it gave you something to chase. That's cool. It's almost like Strike exclusive loot in a way, without actually being Strike exclusive, right? And so I think the reality, though, still remains in order for the game to continue to evolve. and we're trying our best. The big thing is the gun going to be good? If the gun is ass, no one will give a shit, right? And so I think the reality, though, still remains in order for the game to continue to evolve, and we're trying our best in order to make it feel different in the right ways and change in ways that are somewhat sustainable for us developers. But also, frankly, our main goal is just excitement and fun for players. There are going to be bumps in the road. It's going to happen. There are more bumps than we wanted. And like I said, a big part of this is we acknowledge we probably changed too much. We probably should have tried to innovate a little less and focus a little bit more on a smaller bites of the apple. So definitely acknowledge that, Steve. Stephen concluded. But again, it's not that you went so wide so fast. It's what you changed. It's what you did and what you didn't do. And that's what bothers me, is that there is such a disconnect in the mindset of some of these developers of, it's not how fast and how soon you did it. It's what specifically you changed. What you didn't do. Like, I think the fact that PvP is still neglected, has no new modes, has no new PvP, no maps. Hell, when are we ever going to get like when are we going to start getting mayhem again? Like all these other game modes. Like, I don't get it. I don't honestly get it. Like, let people host their own PvP match then. Like you like Battlefield. You can go in and join hosted maps and games and just play whatever people have their presets as. I think custom games in Crucible would be really good, because people who want to be really sweaty can have a really sweaty life. People that want to have casual, stupid fun can have casual, stupid fun. Like, there's a lot coming out in this expansion. New exotics. Yeah. The disconnect, the intellectual disconnect that people have is just mind blowing to me. So I'm going to see what are other people saying, because I have nothing nice to say about this company. But I thought the community wanted over delivery, because what they did was textbook over delivery and everyone complained. Yes. Soft setting 90% of the game, forcing power progression that no one likes, and we have historical evidence that the community does not like power progression. Gutting the vendor system that people did like, gutting so many aspects of the game that made Destiny. Yes, they over-delivered. When we talk about Bungie ball founders, I want you to continue to remember this person, because the Pope of Copium is also the Pope of retardation. As a player since 2017, I have nothing to complain about with Kepler. Kepler. I'm going to continue to call it. Someone said it stops calling it Kepler. No, I am going to call it Kepler. It's Kepler. I'm doing it intentionally. Just like I said, Dreadnought. They fixed the errors, but I missed a progression tree. There's over delivery, then there's over delivery on things nobody wanted. Bungie doesn't understand how to listen to their players and implement what players do. Exactly. There's a difference of what Bungie wants you to do and what we want to do. They likely had that thought several times throughout development and still pulled the trigger. I think it's time for a complete studio overhaul. Bungie from the top of the roster down. Absolutely. Typical passive-aggressive answer, taking responsibility, but not really. Look at us being so innovative, even though all our ideas sucked ass and we forced players into the same solo mission for 400 hours and didn't know what to do. That is true. Their whole model is we make games that foster friendships or whatever bullshit, and then the most efficient way, not only did they nerf and punish and lock away the pinnacle encore mission that no one really wanted to grind, but people were doing it because it was fast and efficient, the grappling mechanic to kind of get past the power progression. Bungie punished everyone by nerfing the grapple mod, which they showcased in their own stream. They locked Encore multiple times so players couldn't play it. And then it forced everyone to do solo ops. And they were going to, people forget, Bungie was going to nerf solo ops. Instead of buffing everything else, they were going to nerf solo ops. So it didn't give you hardly any loot. This is the company. They know exactly what they're doing. This is the company that we want to get praise, we want to hope that can fix the game. Steven and Tyson, their comments are all just been gaslighting. They know exactly what they were doing, and they did it anyways. It is so egregious and so intellectually dishonest to try to passively, oh, well, we just went too fast. No. You did everything wrong that you knew was wrong, but it was more efficient for you because you were trying to squeeze out as much money as possible with the most minimal effort as possible. And now you get what you fucking deserve. A game that is fucking dying. You get what you fucking deserve. It's time to lose some jobs. Maybe they need to go back and try not to say passive aggressive stuff and chalk it up to too much too fast. Like, a lot due to the changes were objectively bad and many people did not like them, even on paper, especially after playing them. The jokes themselves. Yep. Did you all miss that little dig at the player base? Bungie has zero respect for their own fans. They should have tried to innovate a little less. So Bungie doesn't think players can handle the pace of innovation. We are just stupid. We are just stupid to see what they're trying to do. You know what? Maybe they're right. We are accustomed to their under-delivery on everything. A sudden change has left us all dazed and confused. This page said this, but then Bungie said is making a D3. This guy's sources all over the place. He interviewed 2 Bungie devs versus a leaker. You can argue against the D3 leaks because there are leaks. These came from the mouth of actual, like the assistant director and the director of Destiny. You stupid. Anyways, moving on. Nah, don't learn bad lesson from this experience. You can innovate and be respectful of what the game is. Exactly. Sounds like we do too much of what players wanted when that wasn't the case at all. They made drastic shift in game direction away from the direction the community was wanting. Higher leveling wasn't what the community wanted, but somehow they gaslit themselves that we did. Thank you. No one fucking asked for it. Destiny was a great game that had great people working on it, and here's the big kicker: actually played their own game and knew what kind of game. The only person I could ever glaze is Noah, that one guy. After the Into the Light and how he was in it and hardcore playing the game, I have respect for Noah. That's the only dev. The moment that I find out that he quits or he leaves, I have lost all faith in the general sandbox of Destiny. That guy's a G. I listen. If there's any part of Bungie I'll glaze, it will be Noah. That guy's a freaking G. And he needs a raise. Let him lead. I feel like if he was the leader of Destiny, the game would be better. The problem wasn't innovating too much. It was implementing a tedious grind that forced players to do the same solo ops mission over and over for 400 hours and shipping that to players, not pivoting from that fast enough. Always players' fault and not retarded devs. All I'm gonna say is they tried to do the exact opposite of catering to casuals, and it ended up being the worst expansion in the game's 11 years. Maybe don't listen exclusively to tryhards and no-lifers on what made your game enjoyable for all players. I don't even think it's the no-lifers. Very few percent of no-lifers even like the grind. I would say 1% of the no-lifers like the progression grind. It's very minimal. Not a huge fan of them saying the problem was the pace at which they implemented the portal system and not the portal itself. Exactly. I know I'm the 50th person to say this, but I'm not liking how the takeaway seems to be we innovated too quickly for people and not holy shit, Hulu menus were a bad idea. It's crazy that we have the director essentially pushing it on the players as if it was our fault. Then you have content creators blaming the community for the state of Destiny. So you have content creators that are saying it's the community's problem. And then you have the developers and leaders saying it's the community's fault. What is this? What is this shit? You just can't make it up. It feels kind of shitty having this much of a disconnect in the first place. It feels like Edge of 8 came out this way solely to drive up player retention, business perspective, and it was likely rushed out by the higher ups. After 10 years, you'd expect them to know what we want exactly. What I'm getting from this is that they still think hardcore is a euphemism for brain-dead slot grinders who play 9 hours a day, because progression towards the best loot in the game is still significantly longer and more boring than pre-Edge of 8 when it came to pinnacle content. Listen, there's a difference from playing RuneScape, where you're chopping out a fucking tree 9 hours a day to level up, versus playing a looter shooter. I'm sorry. There is a drastic, stark difference. Just because someone likes chopping trees in RuneScape and leveling up and fishing and doing all that shit does not mean they want to do that to Destiny 2. Just saying. Renegades appears to be the innovation that we want Edge Fate to be. Renegades is innovating what activities can look like in Destiny, building onto existing abilities, expanding the story. It's not the Edge Fate to innovate, it just wasn't exciting for players. No. And I think this is a lackluster take. It wasn't that it wasn't exciting, it was that it did everything that no one wanted and asked for. It's the pottery. I may have gone too far in a few places. Ebon? We probably should have tried to innovate a little less. Maybe if your idea of innovation is the portal, then yeah, innovate less. Yes. Tell me about the Steam charts, George. I got a better chart for you. This takes everything. This is the whole picture. It takes consoles and everything into charge. Here it is, baby. Here's your data. I love that chart. Chef's kiss. By innovative, do they mean make the entire game leveling, having zero loot chase, make old content not worth playing, no tier loot or power increases? Because yeah, they should have blinked, innovated less. Actually, I'd go as far as saying it wasn't changed enough. I like the changes, but it was completely half-assed, making people repeatedly play the same old content to get the best possible results was stale and super annoying. Portal needs everything on rotation and every gun. Okay, you know what? Would you feel okay if the Portal had every activity and every gun and it was all tiered? How would you like the Portal then? Let me know in the comments down below if you got this far. It's not that they innovate too much, it's that they try to innovate and make sweeping changes without understanding how players would feel or interact with such systems. Understanding user experience is an important part of software development. I don't think changes was, yeah. As you can tell, man. Let's see, what about this other one? Edge of 8 overhaul failed. Wasn't gracefully managed and taught Bungie hard lessons. Wait, hold on, I gotta read this comment. I gotta find it. I'm not gonna spend all day trying to find these direct quotes. It didn't work. Destiny 2 game director Tyson Green admits Edge of 8 overall failed. Wasn't gracefully managed and taught Bungie hard lessons about what players actually wanted. I think that alone, that statement alone, encompasses the fact that this company doesn't listen to a damn. After 11 years, it should be very blatantly obvious what players fucking want. Like, you can't. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Portal failed because it's incredibly restrictive, encourages repetitive, boring grind, and loot tier isn't a bad concept. It just got implemented incredibly poorly right off the bat by tied into hours spent in the Portal. Unfortunately, a lot of players actually have zero clue what they wanted and will never be happy. Honestly, the launch was fine. I really loved yada yada. 11 years, realized what we wanted, bruh. Also, them saying they innovated and changed too much is wild. I'm the only person to say that they actually didn't innovate, nor think. No, all they did was make a menu gameplay. Like, it's not innovative. And it's not the first time that they've introduced modifiers. Like, this is Bungie. They created these legendary skulls, which added modifiers to the game. And you got to choose to activate them or not. Like, we're talking about Bungie. It's not like this is a new concept that they innovated. They innovated years ago. This is not something new. I don't know. Destiny player base want a good game. Actually rewards them for playing, not being punished for it. Or at least I hope that's what they want. Portal's the single worst thing to happen to this game. It should have been a secondary option to the directory. If new people are having trouble with that, do the IR, the clutter on the screen, then find any way to fix it using the existing system. Not everything needs rework. I think that's the main thing. Like, Bungie changed things that no one asked for. No one asked for the portal. No one, about 10% liked the portal. And most of them are gaslighted by content creators to think the portal should stay or it could be fixed or saved. At this point, get rid of it. Get the fuck out of here. The portal is too... When I think of the portal, I think of Fortnite or Hulu, right? It just needs to die. It needs to go away. Bye-bye. Adios. Sayonara. We don't like you. Bye-bye. Innovate a little less, I think I get the sentiment, but this is supposed to be a world-renowned game studio. There are plenty of innovative studios right now pushing the envelope and know how to handle the problems they bring. Bungie just sounds so defeated. They also just sound like it's ran by a bunch of retards, greedy retards who don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's time for Sony to take over. The takeover is now. I'm Mr. Game Counselor. Let me know what you think down below. I'm just jaded with Bungie. Every day something comes out where they open their mouth and they continue to show that they're so disconnected with the community. And they try to gaslight you. They try to say that you're the problem. They try to be passive aggressive with their bullshit. They don't give a shit about you or me. Unless you are a content creator that they're friends with, they don't give a shit about you. You are nothing but a dollar to them. They're not your friends. They're not trying to be your friends. And this is a clear indication. If you didn't think that, you should think it now. Bungie is not your friends. They will never be your friends. You know what company is closer to being friends with you? Digital Extremes. With how connected they are with the community and how they interact with the community on a weekly basis. You're more likely to make friends of those developers as just being a casual in the community than you are Bungie. It's just insane. It's fucking insane. And I'm sure there's other people that can talk about other games as well. But like, at the end of the day, they're a business. They don't give a shit about you or me. And they apparently don't want to make money either. Because they're trying to scapegoat around, trying to do the bare minimum that they can do while making the most money. And now they're getting caught with their pants down. They're trying to get the best of both worlds, and they're not succeeding. That they're trying to gaslight you now. Pathetic, dude. The day that this company dies is the day that I will literally live stream me dancing for 20 hours. I'll go to a cemetery and I'll dance in front of it. Bungie dead. Bungie dead. Bungie dead. Bungie dead. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's a little extreme. I won't do that. But you get the point. I think we can all celebrate. I might actually get drunk on stream. I don't drink alcohol, but I might get drunk as a celebration and just have a bunch of wine or whatever bullshit. Whatever I can actually inhale because I don't like alcohol, but I'll do what I can. Anyways, I'm done. I'm razzing. I'll see you in the next one.